Hello and welcome everybody. We are here with our monthly Q&A, which is an opportunity to take Reiki questions or other spiritual questions from either a live audience or for those of you that might have emailed or direct message us through social media, where this is the format. We just get a chance to talk about all of our topics, the questions that we might need just a little more conversation around than what's possible in an email or a DM. And so we just give space for that here. And to all of as we often say, the things that we can say here that we might not be able to say in the other parts of our life, the topics that we get to talk about together as a community. That's what we're here for. So I'm of course here with Colleen.
Hello.
And we're here with Danny.
Hi, everybody.
And we're here with a group of people that don't show up on the recording unless they talk. So there's a few of us here right now. It's a smaller group today, but we usually have people join us a little ways into this podcast. If you want to ever join us or ask questions, you can email us. You can sign up for the podcast list and you'll get the link. And then you can always go to our calendar because the day does rotate. When we do these Q&As, it kind of depends on our teaching schedule and different things like that. You can always go to our Reiki Lifestyle. It's the calendar, the Google Calendar that's embedded into our website, and you can see when our Q&As are. So I think that's it for that part of it. The format is that we'll go into an invocation here in just a moment, and then we will get going with questions. I did want to make just a couple of announcements. I will keep them short, but we do have Reiki 1 and 2. These are human classes, Reiki 1 and 2, and Reiki Master coming up in April. And we actually have a promo going on for that. If you sign up for those human Reiki classes in April, you get a free journal of your choice from our Reiki Lifestyle merch site. So you can take a look in our email or our social media to get the details on that. Even if you are reviewing one of those classes, if you've previously taken it with us, you still get the free journal. So just an awareness of that. And then you can go to our social media, which is Reiki Lifestyle, to get more details about that. Also, we can put the link in the show notes to that post so that you don't have to go searching for it. Those are the 7th and 8th and the 9th through the 12th, or the 10th through the 12th, right? Something like that. 8th and 9th and 10th through the 12th of April. And then just the other classes that we have coming up, the promo only runs for those ones, but the other classes that we have coming up in May, we have Animal Reiki 1 and 2, Animal Reiki online, and then Colleen is actually teaching Animal Reiki 1 and 2 at the Omega Institute in person at the end of May. And so you can take a look at those classes as well.
And the Omega Institute is in Rhinebeck, New York.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for right now.
Yeah.
Keep it short.
Keep it short.
All right. So now what we're going to do is Colleen's going to take us into an invocation and just bring the energy in for this circle.
Okay, and for those of you that are listening, maybe while you're driving or doing something else where you need to pay attention to the invocation and going very deep with it. They often do go deep. Sometimes they don't, but I never know. So if you are doing something that you need to be paying attention to, you might want to listen to it later, unless you're able to just let it wash over you. All right, they're always channeled, so we'll see where it goes today. All right, go ahead and get comfortable. Those of you that are here live, I do turn my video off for this. And so you can just go ahead and get comfortable. Close your eyes and take some deep breaths and place your hands comfortably on your body. Open your heart and receive. Breathe deeply now and allow the Reiki energy to flow through like liquid light on your breath. And in all of the places where your body is holding your breath, let the light of Reiki flow through you and open all the tributaries of breath in your body and around you. Your auric field also has breath. As you breathe in the light. It travels in from the highest heavens, flows through each of your chakras, your soul star above you, your crown chakra, all the way through your body, your root chakra, your earth star, and into the earth. And the passageways of your breath open with every breath that you take. The light of Reiki surrounds you, and as you exhale, you release those blockages to your breath into the light where it can be illuminated and healed. Breathe in the power of love as it travels from the source of creation. It is the source of creation, flowing through your whole body, aligning all the way through to the earth. And the love from the light of the earth rises through you, and the love within you is revealed. One light, your light, one breath, this breath, and all those tributaries of light and breath are opening through your whole body with the power of love. And as you breathe in the light and the power of the divine mind, and it travels in on your breath. At the source of creation, pure consciousness and wisdom, the beauty of creation flows through your whole body, and it's flowing from the moment in creation when you became self-aware into your breath, your whole body, connecting with the earth, aligned with the heavens and the earth, and you receive the divine mind and creation of the earth. Your body is made of the earth, awakening your intuition and instincts, your imagination. And the light from the heavens and the light from the earth awakens the divine mind within you, your divine mind, your human mind and divine mind, one light, one breath, this breath, your light. Your divine nature and your divine spirit, awake and present with your human nature and your human spirit. And so you breathe in the breath of the divine mind, the light of wisdom, as it flows through your whole body, opening like liquid light through the tributaries of breath, flowing through your whole body. And in all of the places where your breath has been blocked or you have been holding your breath, it all just releases on the exhale and into the light of the divine mind where it's illuminated and healed. And as you breathe in the light and the power of the divine heart. In that moment when your spirit became self-aware, your God spark, right here, fills your breath and flows into your body, awakening within you. As your heart light shines, it shines in front of you and behind you, and on each side, above you, below you, within you. Breathe deeply as you open your heart and you receive. Your whole body receives the breath of creation. Chakotka, the great bear of first creation, breathes the breath of love and childlike wonder in on your breath, awakening in your heart, your mind, your body, as your imagination and your intuition, your instincts, your human mind and heart mind and gut mind all aligned as your spirit ignites. And the light of the earth and the heartbeat of the earth beats in the rhythm of your own heart, the heartbeat of creation and of this universe beats in the same rhythm as your own heart. And your whole body aligns with the breath of the earth, your breath, the light awakening within you, flowing through you like the tree of life. Your roots grow deeply into the earth around you, and the ground underneath you is stable. And where the ground may feel unstable underneath you, around you, and in the world, the light aligns you, your breath aligns you. Your roots grow deeply around you, and the ground underneath you stabilizes. Your branches reach to the heavens, and you receive from above and you receive from below in a beautiful and perfect balance. Your branches receive the wisdom of creation in the divine heart, your divine heart, and wisdom flows through you, stable, strong, present. Breathe deeply now as the breath of the four winds carries the beautiful wisdom from the ancient ones, the wisdom of the people and the animals, the wisdom of the trees and the waters, the wisdom of the moon and of the stones and of the plants. The wisdom of the earth flows through you, awakening your wisdom. And you receive the wisdom of the heavens, the wisdom of your spirit, awake, present, stable, balanced, strong. Divine compassion fills your breath now and awakens in the tributaries of your body, awakening in your breath, in your cellular memory of your inner truth, your soul's knowledge and wisdom, your inner knowing, inner truth, inner authority, your authentic intellect, and your personal power are all awake. Compassion fills your breath, and the gifts and talents that you have within you are waking up and present, stable and strong. And your breath fills your whole body. And as you exhale, letting go of the places where your breath has been blocked or where you may have been holding your breath. Letting it go. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace flows through you. And you breathe deeply and open your heart and receive peace. And peace fills your breath and flows through your body all the way into the earth and into the heavens, aligned, strong, stable, balanced. And your whole body lifts out of the density and the worries of the world in this moment, and entrains and lifts to the higher frequency of peace and love. And you move into coherence. Your whole body aligns and you receive the breath. And as you exhale, and all of the places where you have been holding your breath, where peace within you has been blocked, disturbed, worried, it travels into the light where it is illumined and healed in the light. And you receive the light and the blessings of joy and gratitude and beauty and grace. And you receive the light of your own sovereignty as your heart light shines for you. Breathe deeply now as your perceptions expand to the beautiful beings of the light that are gathered here with you, with us, and for the earth. And we do say to them, we invite peace and we invite their divine assistance. And we hold the energy of peace within us. We allow the energy of peace to flow through us. Empowered for peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Kriya, Kriya, Kriya. Rama, Nosa, Yava, Shanti. And the field of light surrounds you, and the gathering of the beautiful beings of the light are here. Your beloved and sacred ones surround you. They hear you and they are listening and here to love you and support you in every breath, every day for you. The enlightened ones of your heart are here. Your spiritual teams and guides are here. The divine animal kingdom is here in the spirit of the earth and the tree of life, the angels and the archangels. And the archangels are here also surrounding the earth, and they hear our prayers. And so you open your heart to receive the answers to your prayers and to receive for you and on your behalf, to receive the gift of love that is here for you, to assist you in your daily life right now. And we also welcome the ascended masters that are here and the beautiful beings that we call our sisters and our brothers in the light. I welcome you. And they are here opening channels of the blessing of receiving the gift of enlightened wisdom, that it wakes up within you, for you. Your soul's knowledge, your human knowledge, all right here, clarified for you. And as you breathe in the light fills your breath and envelops those ways and worries of the world where you have been holding your breath. And they release from you for you. And you just simply let them go where they can be illuminated in the light and healed. The cords and connectors and attachments release from you. The voices of the ancestors are present, and the voices of the descendants are present. So the field of light is all around you, for you, that all of the voices in the world and of the past and of the future can be very loud and very chaotic right now. And so you bring your energy in close to you through these fields of light from all the places where you may be scattered in the ways and worries of the world. Bring your attention back to you, and as your energy comes back into you, bring it close to your body. It's flowing through the filter of this Reiki light around you where it's healed as it comes back in. And you listen to the quiet as you bring yourself back to you and bring your focus back to you. Breathe deeply now, open your heart and receive. As the alignment of wisdom from the moment of creation through the earth and through your body, your inner knowing, present and awake, clarity of mind, clarity of heart, clarity of spirit. Discernment is present as the light of Reiki awakens your inner truth, perception of truth. Breathe deeply now as you bring beauty in on your breath, awakening gratitude and love within you. The light is all around you. Remember, activate the light through your day, whether on the fly or for a length of time. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your energy in close to you. Look inside now and say thank you to you for listening to you. This is a time of deep meaning of consciousness. Being in coherence with your own higher consciousness, active in your daily life, present for you. So say thank you to you for listening to you. We say thank you to each other. Circle is always divinely ordered. All who are here live and those who listen later, as we come together at this time, not only this day, but in this change of an age, with intention and the evolution of humanity and the earth into the higher frequencies of love and light and truth and beauty, the beauty of this earth, the possibilities and opportunities of manifestation. And we create a network right now with all those, by all the words and all the meanings, with all the hearts that are connecting around the world to honor the higher frequencies and possibilities of this earth and humanity. And we say thank you to all the beautiful beings that are here supporting us. And we are also moving into greater levels of receiving the divine feminine, to receive, to be in the higher frequencies of the unseen and unknown, the spiritual realms of this earth. And we say thank you to those who came before us and those who come after. We are here in this moment, in this breath. And so we open our hearts and we open our bodies and on our breath to the beautiful light of creation and wisdom. And we align with the heartbeat of the earth. And we align with the heartbeat of the moon and the sun and this solar system, this universe and the heavens and creation. And we are stable and kind and strong. Thank you. And so it is. And so thank you. As always, you can take as long as you need to come back. Robin and I come back quickly because we're still recording. So this is such a particular time. That is such an understatement. It's, there's just, we know there's no words really for it. Um, so, yesterday in our distance Reiki share and what we're going to be doing at least all this month. I mean, we always add this in our distance Reiki share, but we're going to really focus on the tools that we have. And the very first tool that we have with Reiki are the Reiki ideals. And so let's also take a moment right now and really listen for them And so I'm going to say them in both English and in Japanese. So just take a moment and you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever is comfortable. I like to place my hands on my heart and just receive because I will tell you in the journey of my Reiki practice for almost 30 years now, I have had to really listen around what these mean and how they are so foundational in Reiki. And so at this time, coming through so powerfully, um, we'll go ahead and do them. So be comfortable. So take some deep breaths. Just for today, to not be angry. Just for today, to not worry. Just for today, be filled with gratitude. Just for today, be devoted to your work. Just for today, be kind. Kyo dake wa ikaruna. Kyo dake wa kontrashite. Kyo dake wa shito ni shinsetsu ni. I think I may have said that incorrectly. I'm listening. Kyo dake wa go o hageme. Ah, okay, it came in. Kyo dake wa shinpai suna. Hmm. Kyo dake wa hito ni shinsetsu ni. So just bring your awareness back into the room again. We're recording, so I need to come back more quickly. But the other thing I would say with the Reiki ideals is that I also use them individually on the fly during the day. And so it also, when we were talking about tools, because we are potentially, anyone listening might be in headline fatigue because of the war that is happening. And it's a good idea to take a moment, again, even on the fly, before you activate into looking at any of social media, the news, or anything else, even if it is a quick, chokeaway. Like, and oftentimes what I'll do is that energy of that came in the invocation is let it drop around me. And I'll do that on the fly also, like quickly, hey, I need this around me, this bubble of Reiki light, because many of us are so empathic that we really have to also take care of ourselves so that we don't pick up on all the empathic stress as well and take it on as our own. I thought it was also really important to remember to bring your energy in close to you. And one of the things I was hearing that I didn't actually channel, but, or say out loud, but came through, is there can be a lot of guilt right now over like feeling joy or letting go of worry or what can I do? And that energy is there and it was showing up, or maybe it's something that I deal with. And I wouldn't say really guilt for me. It's like I'm always feeling like I'm trying to just be in coherence with a higher frequency, but I also do watch headlines. I do watch what's going on in the world. And so that bringing my energy in close to me, that's what was filtering through that light on the outside. Because the way that it shows me in my head, which is metaphorical, is like as I'm bringing my energy back in on all the places where I've left it outside of me, is that it's coming through that filter of Reiki that I just placed around me. And so the things that are in that attached field out there actually let go in that light. And so maybe that's what I was hearing as I was bringing my energy back in, because it felt uncomfortable to say to be in the light of joy. And I believe that that is actually what we can do, is hold those higher frequencies, be in that place. And oh, and that was another thing that showed up when I used the word hold, the higher frequency. What showed up for me in that was no, let it flow through you. The holding of it is part of what I'm um, kind of trying to need to not do, like the hold the breath. And it's like, no, let that light flow through you, that light of peace flow through you, rather than me feeling like I have to, quote, hold peace. So that was an interesting one too. So anyway, each of you might have had your own experience with it. So that was just mine. Um, so Robin, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I think what we'll do then is we will go ahead and start with questions.
Great.
Okay, let's see. Okay. So we have the question from Jessica here. So, okay. Okay. All right. I was just reading through it. Sorry. Um, I recently completed Reiki 1 and 2 trainings and am eager to learn more and practice with Reiki energy. I have a question about the power symbol, the CKR symbol, in regards to how to work with the direction of the spiral. The diagrams and ultimate healing cards that I received show the spiral starting from the bottom and moving to the right and appears to be in a counterclockwise spiral, which I learned is for decreasing energy. I'm curious why the materials show the counterclockwise version. Maybe this doesn't matter. And what is important is the intention of increasing Reiki power, no matter which of the two versions are utilized. Thank you for sharing your insights with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know I read it a little start and
No,
stop.
I read it too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to answer that or do you want
Nope,
me
go
to?
ahead. Why don't you start?
Okay.
I'll fill in if I need.
All right. So the power symbol, CKR, yes, the spiral does go counterclockwise. Some people do hold that tradition around counterclockwise, that it is like maybe you would use it to lift energy out, or like you say, decrease energy. The symbol is actually an ancient Shinto symbol and has its origin in samurai history, that Yusui was, that's his ancestry. And its meaning is by the emperor's decree. That's its actual meaning. In today's world, we translate that to be by divine decree. And the reason it was originally by the emperor's decree is because the emperor was considered to be a manifested divine being on the earth. And that symbol actually was connecting to his energy and connecting through the universal energy, calling that universal energy to be present right here, right now, through the emperor. Over time and practices and evolution of the different ways that things are done and have been known, and kind of the just evolution of how Reiki energy teaches us over time, that symbol actually now means by divine decree, and place the power of the universe or the power of love right here, right now. So it is used to remove unwanted energy just as it is. It is also used to place energy within. So it's kind of one of those that just works with, um, to me, and what we call it is the power of love. And so if you go back to the invocation and what it was showing as breathing in that energy into your body and then exhaling what is creating the blocks to holding your breath.
Mm.
So that was just channeled, and that's not specifically only the thing that this energy does, but today that's what it was doing. It, I could feel the energy of that symbol coming through to clear the passageways within us and release the places where we were holding our breath. And also, it heals where our breath was being held. So, what we've let go of, what we exhale, is also healed. So there are many different traditions that you're going to find about, and belief systems about the way energy works, what symbols do what. Um, and the real truth of it, in my mind, is that it is so vast. The energy is so vast that there are many ways to work with all of it, many ways to believe in how it works, many different practices and techniques that people will establish that make sense to them. And it is capable of being all of it. And so, one of the things that can happen, particularly with Reiki techniques, is there are many different lineages of Reiki. And that started with Usui. There were lineages of Reiki before Usui. What we practice most worldwide practice is the Usui lineage system. So the symbols, he developed those symbols after, like a year after he and in the 4 years that he was alive with Reiki. Like, he didn't receive the symbols, he received the energies, and then found the symbols that to him could represent those energies best. So there's lots of, after him, he trained 21 Shihans, people that could pass Reiki on to others. Then Dr. Hayashi, I'm not sure how many he trained, but he trained Mrs. Takata, who then trained 22 Reiki masters who could pass on Reiki. And then each of them trained people who could pass on Reiki. And so what we see over the course of time and the evolution of Reiki energy and with humanity and all the different reasons we call upon it, different techniques and tools were created different ways of thinking about the symbols, even different drawings of the symbols. So you might be in another lineage where that particular symbol, rather than going counterclockwise, goes clockwise. That could be in a different lineage. From my perspective, and I have been involved and trained in many of the lineages, they all work. So there are, but I will also say that it can be one of the main places of controversy around Reiki is which technique is the correct technique, which belief is the correct belief. And in this particular lineage, Usui Holy Fire World Peace Reiki, we really honor all of them. It's like, how it works for one group of people, the Reiki energy will call you to that lineage, those techniques, those ways of practices. So you can absolutely, that first of all, know that there are many different ways people do things and they all work. And the next piece of it is for you to actually ask this question of the energy itself. Like go to the symbol itself. It will dialogue with you. It's, maybe it'll be verbal just like we're talking right now, but mostly it's an over time where you develop a relationship with the energy and you get to know more about it. So Robin, I can see you unmuted.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, first of all, of like, if you accidentally draw it clockwise, it's not that the
Yeah.
symbol won't respond. That's one of the biggest things that, that we believe is that, everyone's telling me that they didn't get the distance symbol wrong when we first learned it. Yeah, definitely. That distance symbol is a bit complicated to get right 100% of the time when we're first starting out with it. So definitely it's okay that if you draw it clockwise, it still knows who it is. Colleen always uses the example of like if you spell her name wrong, then she still knows who she is. My name is spelt with a Y, and most of the time people spell it with an I. It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change, that I still respond to people even if they spell my name wrong. So there's that aspect to it. And especially given the fact that in like our kind of Western culture, we tend to go clockwise. Like that's, left to right is our more natural state of like what feels intuitive to us, but that's not true of all cultures. And I don't, like you said, Colleen, it's an ancient symbol. So it's outside of just, you know, the current understanding of what we have of it. But at the same time, counterclockwise might be more intuitive way to draw something in other cultures. If you right to left or something like that. So I always think about it in that way of like, wait, why do I always tend to go clockwise with the spiral? Because it is also a part of like how we naturally do things here. So, and even if if you're in Europe or something like that, like we tend to go clockwise with things. So there's that aspect, but and it takes a little while to get used to the fact that it's counterclockwise for sure. So if you accidentally draw it clockwise and you're like, oh shoot, counterclockwise, it's okay. The symbol will still activate. Symbol still knows who it is and what it is and what it's doing and still running through you. Because sometimes, you think about like Reiki 1 too, we don't even have symbols. So, and they still, well, at least in this lineage, and the Reiki still activates even without the symbols. So it knows what it is and what it's doing, regardless of if we get the symbol exactly right. And actually, what's funny is that the distance symbol, I think because there's more like maybe pressure or whatever to get it exactly right. Like that one was easier for me than the mental emotional symbol. I would always do the little kind of spiky part wrong for quite a while with and I'd have to be like, oh shoot, wait, no, it's this, with the mental emotional symbol. That one always would trip me up. But I just figure it knows who it is. I'm activating it, I'm calling it in, I'm calling the qualities in. To me, it's more the intention behind it than getting every single part of it right every single time. And eventually, it just becomes second nature. So it's not like eventually but in the beginning, especially, it is one of those things that you kind of have to take a moment and think about and, maybe even redo it if you want. And then other times I'm just like, well, I'm just activating it. If I get it wrong, please just know that I'm calling you in and that it's going to work.
Well, yeah, I used to think I had to erase it. Be
Well, that's
like,
probably
oh,
might even been what you were taught.
erase and erase, you know. And,
Yeah.
um, but, there's just so much around the topic. So, for instance, Mrs. Yamaguchi, one of the early teachers of Jikiden Reiki, um, was well, she didn't really call it a lineage, but she grew up, learned from Dr. Hayashi, and taught Reiki into her 80s with her son Tadao. Anyway, she used to talk about the symbols, and she would say that it was so weird to her that in the West we relied on the symbols so much. And she said it's like taking a spoon in a pot of soup, and as you go around in the pot of soup stirring it, you're saying spoon, 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 spoon. So she would be like, what are you guys doing? So the use of the symbols came in. There's a lot of new history coming out about them right now, but the use of the symbols in the West was really more amplified by Mrs. Takata. And that is because, of course, she was teaching a group of people that didn't have the training in Usui's spiritual style of Reiki. They didn't have Hayashi's medical training. And so for her, really helping people to use the Reiki energy, she brought in the symbols, and she actually changed the attunement method. So uh, Usui Sensei and Hayashi Sensei practiced attunements to Reiki through what were called reijus. And they would, every time they met, they would do another reiju or an attunement. And so it was through repetition that people developed their connection with Reiki. Again, Mrs. Takata, because of her particular circumstances, was guided by Reiki to change the attunement method to directly connect to the symbols, and that when you received that attunement, then you were empowered with those symbols for life. It did not have to be repeated over time and every time. I'm sure that reijus were still practiced in meetings, so it's not like, oh, she never did that again, because that would have been her early training. But it was one of the really big innovations that Mrs. Takata brought into the system of Reiki, is that deep connection with the symbols. But also remember, as Robin was saying, they know how to do what they do. And we really, although we set intention with them and we work with them in particular ways, we're not directing them specifically anyway. So that to me is maybe even why, like if you drew it clockwise instead of counterclockwise, it's still going to do what it does. And you may have the intention of asking it to release energy. It is going to do that anyway. So it's an interesting part of it. And, we're going through so much evolution of Reiki even right now. And when I say that, I mean it in the sense of, from my perspective, the Reiki energy listens to our questions, our prayers, our requests, the things that we're asking for, the things that we need, and it then presents these evolutions of the energies and our understanding of them. And we're going through a tremendous change in the evolution right now. There are also many historians, and not that the history changes the nature of the energy, but it changes our understanding of the history of Reiki. We have like a new wave of researchers that are worldwide, bringing out new information about the history of Reiki. Justin Stein, you can go to his Facebook page and he can really keep you up with it. Also, we've done podcasts with him, Olaf Bohm, and then another one, if you really want to know more about some of the Reiki symbols, Ken Locke, Chung, I should know his last name. I know him very well. Um, anyway, our podcasts with Ken Locke have been great about the symbols too. So there's a whole lot that goes with them. And so everything that we both just said still comes down to you will find your relationship with the energy. It will show you how it works with you and the different ways you ask it to work with you. Because each of us comes in with a different reason we're working with these energies, and it responds to all of us. And it has always responded to us collectively. So again, going back to that evolution of it all, there is some question whether Yusui actually worked with Chokurei, or I shouldn't say whether he worked with it. He did work with it, but whether it was a part of his system or whether that came in with the second president of the Gakkai, Yoshida, and whether he is the one who adopted it. And so there's a whole thing out there about that, whether, but there's only slight evidence for it. So we'll see. Robin, I see you unmuted again.
No, I think that's good. We had another question about the symbols. Danny said that she thinks that you answered it, but I wanted to hear it just so this person also, knew the questions.
So it's good morning. I'm in day 2 teaching my first Karuna Reiki class and have a couple of questions from the students. Do the lines of the Karuna symbols have specific meaning or purpose similar to the power and mental symbols? I have not seen any content indicating this, but thought I would ask. And then, do the symbols resonate with specific frequencies? They are sound healers and wondered since I can say Karuna symbols, right? The Zonar and Halu activate the chakras. I remember you did an interview with one of the LRMTs with crystal balls. Was that Jill?
Okay, so for the first question, do the Karuna symbols have specific alignment with the power and the mental emotional symbol? Is that okay? I read that differently. I thought it was, do the lines and the symbols have a connection? So I thought it was asking about how the symbols are drawn. And there's not a lot of information about any kind of history with how the symbols were drawn specifically, but I definitely find a connection with the Usui, the holy fire, and the Corona symbols. So, for instance, to me, Nosa and SHK, the mental emotional symbol, are very aligned. They're different octaves of the energy. So I think of Nosa as your authentic intellect, and it is bringing us into the truth of our human intellect. And then the mental emotional symbol is what actually brings that into that working together. I shouldn't say it is what brings us in. They both bring us into our human intellect, like intuition, imagination, instincts, ideas, all of those thinking, heart, gut parts of our intellect are part of being human. So when we are in the soul realms, we are the power of love. We are our divine mind. We are already our divine heart. So those energies are, part of being human. Like our intellect is part of being our human nature and our human spirit. So I think of NOSA, for instance, as very specifically bringing in that next connection to our intellect. And so many of us, I think, again, going into this age and transition that we are in consciousness, is that we are bringing back our authentic consciousness that has really been suppressed and at best underdeveloped in our culture. So, meaning that, again, in my lifetime, and I know I say this all the time, so I feel like sometimes I repeat myself, but in my generation at 69 years old as a child, there was like intuition was considered kind of something people laughed about that women had. Like women had intuition as if men didn't have intuition too. And then instincts were, like, do human beings have instincts or do only animals have instincts? So there's an evolution of consciousness. And also because I was raised absolutely born into and raised with the outside authority, and we're transitioning into inner authority, which to me is authentic intellect. What is my inner truth? What is my authentic intellect? What is my authentic authority? And so I think these symbols are helping us to transition in this age because, there's, I'm sure, a reason that we needed to be in a collective, where we needed to develop a collective, but now we're moving into more of the individuation. But of course, we still need collective, right? So, Robin, I see your face going like, what? Oh, you were looking at something else. Okay. Um, so anyway, yes, I think they're related. So, um, the Karuna symbols, if any of you are wondering about them, not just the symbols, but, it is divine compassion and compassionate action. And I would have to say that it is a tremendous evolution of Reiki energy, but elevation in my own life of being human, I guess. I don't know. It's a pretty if you're really called to Reiki, and you wonder about taking Karuna, it is an amazing energy to work with. And so, did I answer the second question?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's just the aspect of they're multidimensional and
Yeah.
and it's the same with the or I'm sorry, the master symbols as well. They all do kind of have a multidimensional aspect to them. Of course, we have the certain qualities that they can, be helpful for. Um, but I do think that they're just they are just multidimensional. So I would say
Yeah.
the same thing about the Jusui master symbol. I'm going to use that one because that's not everybody's holy fire. And the Sui master symbol, I think, has qualities of the, three Yasui symbols, like the 1 and 2 symbols. So, or the 2 symbols. So I think they all kind of build on each other. They empower each other. They work together. You do find it, the relationships with them and with them together as well. So I know for me, like I don't even necessarily think of them as separate. I just think of them as, and while I might call in one for certain things, even then I'm like, all of you come in, help me with this. So yeah, that's just the little bit. I think you answered it great. And just the little bit that I would add is that they're super multidimensional.
I think the other part of the question was actually about using them with sound healing.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah,
And
so
Jill is probably Jill Teal, which is Minnesota Sound Healing.
yeah, Minnesota Sound Healing, and absolutely, again, there's so many ways that these work individually, that is the biggest teaching of all, is to let the energies come in, invite them, and let them come in and show you how they work with your particular way of working with them. So absolutely, sound healing can deliver those energies. The bowls can, they're the sound is now what's delivering the energy, and it absolutely is in coherence and entrainment. Sound entrainment is a term in sound to, harmonize with the energy. So absolutely, they are powerful with singing bowls, with drums, with sound, with voice. In fact, in Corona Reiki, we teach sound healing with voice. We teach using chanting and toning with the symbols.
Well, I think that you're even chanting in the invocation, right?
Oh, I did. That's right.
A little bit.
Yeah. When I'm on with the microphone, I have to be careful with the chanting because sometimes the sound can come through so strong that suddenly everybody's ears are like, ooh, jolted. So I just will commonly do it gently the way I did in the invocation. But also, we can go into some pretty deep chanting and toning with them as well.
Okay. Well, now this is actually 2 different questions, but I maybe they were sent by the same person. I mean, um, do you have any examples of stories of sending distance Reiki back to a situation in the past? And did you receive a sign of Reiki healing the situation? Are there different ways of knowing healing had taken place? So, um, a couple of things with this, and then I'll just go ahead and say, my part of it, and then you can jump in here, Colleen. But definitely have had lots of examples of sending Reiki back to a situation. I would say the biggest thing that I've noticed on a personal level and then as a practitioner is the level of what it kind of brings up for us personally in the present moment, like how we feel it in our body, how we're reacting to it in the present moment, like that charge that can come from a past situation and how we feel in the moment. And I'll say an example of that in just a moment, of my own experience with that. But then the other thing that I would say with this is that there is a very big intuitive knowing of feeling the Reiki being sent back to yourself in that moment. Because you hear about people's experiences all the time about like, I now know that that was me today sending back to myself in that moment. Like there's such a just a deep knowing that that is what you experienced in that moment in the past that was so helpful in that experience. Um, and you just hear people say that over and over and over to know that that is how it is very commonly experienced in the present. Um, on a light version of a light example of this, this was a few years ago now, but in my uh, family gathering where things can sometimes be challenging, I usually set up kind of that Reiki light around me when before I'm going into it. So like I might send it ahead if I think about it, but usually on the way there, I'll spend some time and just set up that filter, that Reiki zone around me. Um, and there was one very specific time that I just didn't think about it. And it was like, it can be intense. Like the feeling that I absorb from it can be intense. Not like there's like really terrible things happening, but it can be intense and it's challenging on my energy and my energy fields. It just like, I come away like, or like if there was like, maybe rude comments made or something like that. And then I remember leaving one of them one time and getting in the car and being like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tense right now. And that was so challenging and it was intense. And I remember thinking, oh, I forgot to give myself Reiki before I went. And I forgot to set up that filter before I went. And I was like, dang it. But then I was like, oh, but what I can do now is I can just use the distance symbol and send it back to myself before. And so like, okay, I'm going to send it back and I'm going to put that bubble around me in the car like I normally do and set up my filters for the event. And I mean, I'm telling you, when I tell you it was an instant like feeling of relief, it was an instant feeling of any of that charge that was a part of it, any that feeling of like I just kind of feel like I got a little slimed in my energy field, like that, all of that just completely melted away in that moment. And it was a result of me sending Reiki back to myself for before I went into the event with it. So like I said, that's a little bit of a lighter version of when you can feel it pretty much instantly. Um, there's other times where it's a little bit more of a serious situation where, people have stories about like what was protecting me in that moment. And as they have gone through their self healing, gone back on their timeline in their self healing, um, they and revisited that event as they're working through their healing of it. They're like, I'm sending Reiki back to myself, and there's like this massive realization of like, oh, that's what that was. I specifically remember the whatever it was that came through that helped me in that moment. That's what that was. It was me today. And there's this kind of like, speaking of multidimensional timeline connection there, of understanding around that. And it can be very healing in that moment, but there is this really deep inner knowing that is what that was at the time. So those are the two kind of examples that I have as far as, how I've experienced this personally, and then also not just as a practitioner, but also just being in these communities, you hear of these stories and in classes and just because we have conversations about it.
And I would say for myself, actually even thinking about it like right now, I hadn't thought about it this way before, but I wonder if sending, I've been doing it for so long now, sending Reiki back to me in my childhood is why I kind of was always able to perceive my childhood the way I did. And because for many people there was some pretty serious rage in my household growing up, that I managed, and I always, for some reason, was always able to just be like okay, and or maybe I just remember it that way. I mean, I know I had my moments. Some of it was very intense. Some of it was pretty, like in today's world, would be really serious, and more normal back then. But I was kind of always able to just like be a happy person. I was always able to find my way through it. And I wonder now if it was because I always sent Reiki back to myself. I've been doing that now for almost 30 years. As far as specific moments, I can tell you also as a practitioner, absolutely, and I can't share specific stories because they're other people's stories, but absolutely, I would say that people experience um, the distance symbol going back into the past to heal the past. Also, that it can heal ancestral histories, it can heal parts of the earth. So it's a pretty significant like realization that it does work. I would say for myself in some specific times, and one of these I've shared before, but I had shared a specific gossip that was like a really serious telling of somebody else's stuff. And after I said it, I was like, oh my God, I just said this. And I was so just like hurt by my own actions that I was so worried about what I had said about somebody else to other people, or a story about their life that I had shared that was not mine to tell. And afterwards, I used the distance symbol to go back to before I shared it, to actually ask that the energy be changed around what I shared, and to really empower the people that I said it to not repeat it, because it was like big gossip to want to repeat. And I really used it to go back to heal myself, because I was really like, whoa, I just did that. Um, and it wasn't lightweight, like telling something. It wasn't, it was serious. And so that's one kind of like Robin remembering that specific one, where that was one that I would say it made a huge impact on me managing myself in that situation. And I never heard that story repeated by the people that I repeated it to. Um, and I had actually asked it to kind of just erase the energy of it, so they didn't even think about it or remember it. And so that was one of my really big ones. I use it a lot to go back to when I forget to send it to myself. In the example Robin just used, um, if I wish I had like, oh, guy, and I always feel like it's like I could have had a V8. I could have used Reiki. Like, what was I thinking? I forgot to use Reiki. So I'll send it back and some of the more lightweight things. But you have those moments in your life where you've learned big lessons about yourself. That for me, that was a self-growth moment that was, like one of not only a huge self-growth in me, but also when we talk about ask the symbols in ways that nobody has told you to use them before and let them help you. This is what we mean by there are so many more ways that these energies can assist you. And there's no bullet pointed list of everything. Walter Lubeck wrote a book on the four symbols that was 600 pages, the big book of Reiki symbols. And it's still not going to cover all the different ways it can help you. So absolutely use that energy. And back to Robin's earlier statement about sometimes I know for myself, I shied away from using it because I felt like I was going to draw it incorrectly. It's not dependent on that. Usually, when we're drawing the symbols, it's to get us to the energy. The energy comes to us because we invite it. When I draw the symbols, it's because my mind is scattered, I'm all over the place. And when I draw the symbols, it gets me to the energy, it connects me in. The energy is already there for me to connect to. Yeah. Andre, the book is The Big Book of Reiki Symbols. So that is by Walter Lubeck. And he wrote that, gosh, it's maybe back in the mid 2000s. So, yeah, it's a great book. I'm gonna sneeze, Robin. So,
All right. Well, when Colleen sneezes, sometimes it's a sneezing fit, so it might be a second. But that works out great because we have another question. Yeah, she's going into a sneezing
it's
fit.
one of those. I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right, no worries. Okay, so Danny, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Our question is, you mentioned that you use the Way of the Horse Oracle cards for making decisions. Could you share about the process you use with these cards to make decisions? Do you go with your own feeling of the card or use the author's interpretation or both? Any tips for using the cards if you're not experienced with horses?
So I would like to know, because you use a lot of oracle cards and pendulums. I think that that's kind of the broader
Yeah,
question about using oracle cards in general for
I yeah,
decisions.
I go on my own intuition for me. Um, Sometimes I'll read the definition in the book of a card just to see, but I kind of already know what I'm thinking. So for me, that's what I do. I just kind of look at the card. I look at everything on the card. So for instance, here's an oracle card. I'm gonna show it. And there's
Yeah.
so much to look at, right? There's a moon, there's light, there's a person standing there. So I just look at everything on the card and kind of like, what were we talking about with the client? What was our whole session about? Or if I start it, like, where are we going to go with it? So that's how I do it. I don't really go with the book.
I love it. And I might be a little bit of the opposite. I
Okay.
actually, yeah, yeah. So with oracle cards, I I mean, you get to know your decks, right? So like you get to know what the card's energy holds, the different ways that you might pull them. Like you do end up in relationship with decks for sure. And oracle cards are a little bit different than tarot cards, although they can be used, like you can use them for each things where I would say tarot cards are a little, I mean, you can certainly use them as an oracle card as well, and you can lay out readings, but I would say tarot cards are a little bit more um maybe detailed, is like more what's the word I'm looking for? Like you can, to me, when you do a large reading in a tarot card, you can get so much information from them. And oracle cards, I use more like I would say maybe a little more simplistically. with them. Now, other people might have a fully different perspective of that. So if you do, I honor your perspective. This is how I personally use them. As well. But I will pull, multiple oracle cards. So it's not saying that, but it, like tarot cards, I feel like you can go like so deep into the different aspects of them and how they work together and all of that. So with oracle cards, I would say I don't necessarily use them for my decisions. Maybe I would, where I would pull maybe three and like a past, present, future, and really get the essence around the decision. So, like, what is the deeper part of it rather than maybe a yes or a no? What are the qualities within me that is like trying to come to the decisions around it? If I'm going to make a yes decision, like what do the qualities of the cards say about that? If I'm going to have a no decision, what do the qualities of the cards say about that? Rather than I'm going to pull this card and it's going to determine my yes or my no. I use them in my healing and like expansion and growth a lot. So as I'm working through something, if I'm pulling a card, like what's going on for me? What are the qualities here? Maybe there's something that I'm not seeing around all of it. To me, that's where the oracle cards come into how I have them as a part of my practice. So if I'm, the example that might even be coming through with this is like if I pull I usually I don't in this moment, but I usually have like 3 to 4 decks on my desk in front of me. If I'm teaching, I'm going to pull a card, pull one from each deck, and like what are the qualities here that are a part of the aspect of this class. For me, if I'm like going through something, I'm like, what is going on? What is happening here? I might pull them for my day. Those are the things that I will pull the oracle cards for, and it's super helpful. If I need a sign from the universe, I might pull a card. So to me, that is another thing that can be really helpful, that where I need like a sign from the universe. And that to me is a little bit different than like a yes or a no. Just helps me go into the qualities, into the energy of it that I might not see, or that I need to understand deeper around. Now, I do go based on what is on the card. Like I look at the different aspects of the art that is on the card because it's helpful. But for me, and this might even be that like kind of left, right, like you might have the feeling around it is how you prefer to like be in relationship with it, so you're feeling into it. Whereas me, I'm like, okay, what's the book say? I need to know what the book says. Like I might feel a little more linear around that, but that also might be personality. Because even when I know a card really well, like when I might be pulling a card over and over and over again, because that happens, um depending on what's going on with my life. When that happens, I'll get to know like what it means. What does this card mean? And then at the same time, I feel like every time I go and look at the definition of it, I pull something to a deeper level of what it is trying to tell me. Because there might be one line in there that highlights to me one day and a different line that highlights to me a different day. So for me, I actually really like to go into my books around it, even if it's a short blurb around it. I always find that helpful with it. So that is something that I prefer. That's all about practice with it all, and how, like, not practice meaning skill practice. It's all about your practice and what you prefer around it and your relationships with your cards. That's kind of overall with oracle cards. how I work with them. And I love that you have kind of the opposite way, Danny, of like you just go on feeling, on the art, on what's there, and reading the card itself. Because it just really shows that there's not really a right or a wrong with it. It's how we all prefer, for sure. Yeah, saw you unmuting. Go ahead.
Oh, no, and then answering Laura's question too is like, and sometimes I do work with cards that I'm not familiar with, like horses, for instance. And I just, again, look at what's on the card. So it could be angels or horses or spirit or nature. And so I don't really have to be, like know a lot about horses to be like, oh, this is what I'm seeing and feeling from this card. So.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was the second part of the question is like the way of the horse. You certainly don't need to know horses to have that deck because, it's got like Pegasus on there. And then there's some parts of it that it has like, even though I know about different breeds of horses, it has nothing to do with the breed. And then there's a couple of the cards where there's like a human interacting with the horse, and it's all about that interaction. That is the message of the card. So you don't necessarily need to know about horses to use that deck. And for sure, because I would say there's probably, other than like I think the Black Stallion card, which is black horse medicine, is outside of even just any sort of breed. That's a you can look more into that. That's a whole thing. But other than that card, I would say there's probably not even breeds mentioned in there, maybe once or twice. As far as it's concerned, it's just more about the qualities of the messages that come through the cards and what they mean rather than anything to know about horses themselves. And I will say that deck specifically has a really in-depth book to go along with it, more in depth than a lot of, yeah, Colleen's holding up the book if you're just listening. It's, how many pages is it? I mean, it's like 150 pages. It's a long book. So that book is actually more in depth than most. A lot of the Oracle card, you just get like a little book with it, which isn't bad either. I don't mean it that way. But it certainly goes into the depth of the message a lot. And what I like about that deck too is that it has like a brief summary of like the challenge, it's like the message, the challenge, and the gift, and like just a real brief summary, and then it can go more into depth. And some of those are actually like multiple pages long, so you can really get into it with that one. And I just between like our experience with it, we've just found it really, for us personally, nails it. But each of us is going to have a different relationship with different cards and different things that we connect to. So just know that is, it's not I mean, like, yeah, we've really relied on our cards in the past, or relied might not be the right word, but really been in relationship with them during specific times, like when we were writing the online Reiki with William. That was a very interesting time, and that energy coming through, and the card that we pulled every single day separately during that time frame. And they just nail it. It's really wild around it. Yeah, Colleen's holding up the lightning horse card. And that was the card we pulled every day during that time frame. So what's interesting though, what's funny is that that we just set up an Amazon storefront. We don't have a lot in there yet because I'm just kind of put things in because I'm playing around with it. But when I thought about it, I was like, that was literally the first product that I put in there, was the Way of the Horse Oracle cards. So you can go to, we're going to add this to the show notes and it'll be added to the website, but you can go to our Amazon storefront, which is like /store/Reiki Lifestyle. It's the Reiki Lifestyle storefront, and the Way of the Horse Oracle cards are in there, or you can just search them on Amazon. They'll come up either way, but we have some of our kind of Reiki books and different things that we use, different Oracle cards that we use on there. that you can go and take a look of. But that's what they're called. They're by Linda Konov, who wrote the Tao of Equus. So I would say that that is the whole spiel on those cards specifically.
And I'm not going to add a lot, but I just pulled this card this morning and I put it back in the deck. It's like, it's it's definitely one visually you can see. This would be one visually you'd know about horses where he's like, oh, this is hard work.
Well, he's pulling on the bit in that
He's
one.
he's pulling on the bit, his ears are pinned.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I was like, no, I don't want that one today.
I'm not subscribing to that today.
I do not.
I don't
So
subscribe.
now that I know, I can change like, okay, Reiki, come in, and this is not my day today.
I remember we were doing this with some friends, and one of the friends pulled the Master of Sadness 3 times in a row. It had gone around the circle. We had all shuffled it. This is one of the cards in there. We had all shuffled it. Like, I'm not subscribing to that. Went around again, pulled it again. I'm not subscribing to that. Went around again, pulled it a third time. And we're like, well, I think maybe we should like look into this, which that card is actually a really beautiful card. The visual of it feels really heavy. And like it's called the Master of Sadness, but it's all about actually feeling into any emotion that you're going into, or that you're kind of in, if you're in a cycle like that in the moment. She kind of was. And so anyway, sometimes you have to be like, all right, fine, I'll listen today. But other times I'm just like, I don't subscribe to that. I'm putting it back. Funny. Oh, yes, no problem. We're glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. All right. And then I think we'll finish off with this last question. Have you ever used the Reiki moving meditation to anchor in a Reiki ideal to work with for a full day, such as be kindness or grateful? I don't know if I have, but I love that.
Oh, yeah.
You have, Colleen.
Yeah, so the moving meditation is one that we learn. It's really a Qigong practice where you're reaching up and kind of making a circle with your arms, bringing your hands back up to your body and sending your breath into the earth through your body. And while you are doing that motion, you're actually intending Reiki symbols, and also you can use a mantra. So, for instance, the way we do it is in 3 motions where our hands are going up around our whole body in a large sweep, come back to our heart, and then send the energy into the earth through our body and our breath. And so, for instance, as we're doing that motion 3 times, we might use a symbol. So I'm going to use Shanti, for instance. And so we might go up, around, and say Shanti, and send that energy into the breath. And we might do that 3 times. And then maybe use a mantra such as, just for today, I will be kind to all others. And so then we would do that mantra with that hand motion going around, sending breath into the earth with, just for today, I will be kind. And say that 3 times and then send the symbol around, the mantra again, and the symbol around again. So many people do that. Again, it's a Qigong practice that was brought into the practice of Reiki. And so really anyone can use that with any symbol and any mantra. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Krista said, I always feel so good and peaceful after attending these sessions with you 3. Thank you. Us too. I will tell you what, yesterday, getting to the distance Reiki share, I know we say this all the time, but so sincerely mean it. Like, we rely on our community the same way all of you rely on our community. And so very grateful that we get to do this and share this. And it is today what I believe we can do. And, I don't have any really any control over decisions made about war, for instance. This is one thing I can do. And let that come through me, be sincere and authentic. And then, most of all, receive the Reiki energy so I can stay in that mantra of stay stable, be kind, and be in that, let that energy flow through me and from me and for me. So I think that was one of the things that I feel like I received actually both from this card that I just held up and from the invocation today is to bring my energy back into myself right now and let that energy come through me. I think in the invocation, the way it came through of holding my breath, um, you know, I know it's for me, but I think there's probably a lot of people in the same place of not even realizing I'm holding my breath and the energy flowing through and letting it flow through and do the work for me, and that I don't have to control it. And I think that's what this card is saying. I don't have to fight against the bit. I don't, just go into that receptive mode to let it come through me because this is what I can do today. We can come together, we can be community, we can state through all of us around the world that we care deeply about one another. And I like this is what I can do and what we can all do. And we mean it, and it's powerful. And the spirits that are here talk about how much it matters. And the descendants say it matters. And the ancestors say it matters. So this is what we can do.
Okay. Good way to end.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we'll finish up there. And thank you all. As Colleen said, we always love these circles and getting to talk about these subjects. And the distance Reiki share too, but also that it's a little more free flow here. So lots of love to everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Remember
Thank
to
you.
just invite Reiki, whether it's on the fly. You just don't have to know everything that it's doing. Just let yourself receive it, use your tools, and, you know, and sometimes you feel like I don't even have the capacity to use my tools. So just invite Reiki. Just say I receive Reiki and let it flow through you for you.
Right. Another great note to leave it on.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everyone.
I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye now.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
Bye.